It's Fox and 5 time. Let's get to it. My favorite.
Jesse Waters along with Janine Pirro, Jessica Tarlov, Katie Pavlich, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The 5.
For the record, before we get to this, remember what I told you? Trump is the only type of dude who will openly fucking get arrested for shit like this. I was right. Trump literally admitted everything, it seems, in a tape.
Say there are 2 instances of Trump showing classified material to people, including a military plan of attack against an unnamed country. Trump's accused of directing an aide to move documents out of a storage room before an FBI subpoena.
Why is this so
The
loud?
DOJ also claiming that Trump suggested to his lawyer that they should hide or destroy the documents. The former president will appear in federal court Tuesday in Miami and is proclaiming his innocence.
And we had tremendous support. But that was a hoax and a scam. And now they're doing it again. It's just a continuation, 7 years. I'm an innocent man. I did nothing wrong. And we will fight this out just like we've been fighting for 7 years. It would be wonderful if we could devote our full time to making America great again.
Special counsel Jack Smith breaking his silence, but not taking questions on why he decided to indict Trump.
Our nation's commitment to the rule of law sets an example for the world. We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone. It's very important for me to note that the defendants in this case must be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law.
Joe Biden saying that he doesn't know what the Joe Biden DOJ was doing.
President Biden, have you spoken to Attorney General Merrick Garland yet?
I have not spoken to him at all. I'm not going to speak to him. I have no comment on what happened.
And the liberal media has been popping the champagne since the news broke.
I don't know. It's sad and it's shocking, but it's also kind of it makes me feel a bit relieved.
Line by line by line of this indictment lays out calculation, deliberate misconduct.
You can see the voluminous nature of this, that they have the goods and the receipts. It is bad news. I have never seen anything hit Donald Trump this hard.
That sound that you hear is silence, largely from Republicans in these moments. Maybe they're reading this 50-page document.
The taped conversation, is that a smoking gun?
Do they consider as part of a potential plea offer something that would proscribe him from running for office again?
Judge Janine Pirro, you've been reading the indictment. How would you characterize it?
You know, I am so livid right now. I am furious. I have spent
you're always like that because you're crazy.
In a system that I believe in. I'm a believer. But today, I am no longer a believer. What you've got is a weaponized Department of Justice, Department of FBI, and CIA. We saw it from the time he came down that escalator. They started with the Russia collusion hoax, and we know that Hillary Clinton made it up. She even told a president, the Durham report, she told Biden and she told Obama she was going to do it to get rid of her email scandal. So what did they do? The FBI lied. They went to a FISA court judge. They lied 3 more times. They needed to get this guy. And then they violated the Fourth Amendment rights of one American and spied on a presidential candidate, and we now know it was all a hoax started by Hillary Clinton. But that wasn't enough. Then what we had is the FBI telling social media, you can expect that there's going to be Russian disinformation in the form of a Hunter Biden laptop. And that's when they interfered with the presidential election for the second time. And 51 CIA intelligence agents. So we've got the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA say, oh, this is Russian disinformation, when we know damn well it wasn't Russian disinformation. And now what you've got is a loser prosecutor, Jack Smith, who's been slapped down by the United States Supreme Court in one of his prosecutions, that if I were a lawyer, I would give up my law license. I'd be so embarrassed hiding under a rock. He's the one who prosecuted John Edwards. He's got a political agenda, and this is all over a Presidential Records Act, which is a civil suit, a civil issue. And so what they do is they put out this narrative indictment. Oh, this is a story of wrongdoing, national defense, and let's put in espionage. We can kind kind of tie it into the Russian collusion so people will say, oh, it could have been the Russians. This is nonsense. And I want to know, how many documents were altered? How many documents were destroyed? Zero. But who destroyed 33,000 documents that she lied about over and over again? Hillary Clinton. She destroyed them. That was tampering with evidence. That was obstruction of justice. And did the DOJ, the FBI care? They didn't give a damn. But now they care. What are they so afraid of? Let him run for office. And if he loses, then that's the end of it. I hate a country that is akin to a third world country. This is a banana republic. When you indict one guy running for president and the guy who's doing it is some old geezer who says, you know what? I don't know anything about it.
Dude, she is going off, Queen. I love Judge Jeanine Perot, whose name is Judge Jeanine Perot, by the way, talking about how someone should be embarrassed to continue the legal profession. It's like, you should probably take the name judge off of your off of your branding, okay?
Ukraine? Why the heck is everybody going to Ukraine? Why do we put billions and billions and billions of dollars into Ukraine? What the heck is going on over there? Randy Weingarten going to check out education. And Joe Biden goes over there in January of 2018, and he says, if you don't get the prosecutor off that company where my son makes $80,000 a month, and if you don't get rid of him, I'm not going to give you the $1 billion that the United States promised you. Well, Joe, that's called pay to play. It's an organized criminal.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, lock him up. I am in agreement, okay? But listen, let's you're probably wondering how we got here, right? Cuz you're maybe a little unfamiliar with what happened. So I think it's good to do a little refresher on the matter, okay? So Donald Trump was indicted, and those indictment charges were unsealed earlier today for 7 counts. Some of them were espionage. I think one of them was there was obstruction of justice, conspiracy to mishandle classified documents and whatnot. And for the record, it was 37 counts. What the okay, well, I apologize. 37 counts, 7 types. Okay? So let's do the timeline real quick. So Donald Trump has been indicted on 7 charges relating to the storage of classified national defense documents dating from his presidency at his Mar-a-Lago mansion in Palm Beach, Florida. The 45th president of the United States will now appear in federal court in Miami on Tuesday, the 13th June. His lawyer has since confirmed. Should he be ultimately convicted, he could face the maximum combined sentence of 100 years in prison. His resort home was raided by the FBI in August 2022 as a part of a hunt for search papers and other government records that should have never left the White House, and his presidency ended in January 2021, a dramatic move that came as a surprise to the general public. However, legal filings have since shown that the investigation into possible violations of the Espionage Act that triggered that unprecedented action was months in the making. The documents made clear that Trump had ample opportunity to return the material to the government requested and then subpoenaed and revealed the sheer quantity of highly sensitive documents he was keeping at the club. Now, I want everybody to understand something here. There's a big difference between this and Michael Pence, for example, his situation. There's a big difference between this and Joseph Robinette Biden, for example. And that major difference is Donald Trump refused to comply with the authorities and even acted like he was complying, acted like he was actually listening to the demands from the authorities, while simultaneously keeping some documents to himself. And that is what the major point of contention here is, the major difference between, Joe Biden being investigated and immediately saying like, oh yeah, take all the documents you want, whatever. So that is what is hilarious about the circumstance. But here is a timeline of the notable developments in the case so far. On the 20th of January, 2021, then President Donald Trump left the White House for Florida ahead of President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. According to the GSA, the General Services Administration, members of the Trump transition team were responsible for packing items into boxes, putting those boxes on pallets, and shrink wrapping those pallets so they could be transported. And we saw those boxes, if you recall. That was done very openly. Prior to shipping, GSA said it required the outgoing transition team to certify in writing that these items being shipped were required to wind down the office of the former president and would be utilized as the office transitioned to its new location in Florida. GSA, however, did not examine the contents of the boxes and had no knowledge of the contents prior to shipping, according to an agency spokesperson. Okay? GSA was also not responsible for the former president's personal belongings, which were transported by a private moving company. On May 2021, after the National Archives and Records Administration, NARA, realized that documents from Trump's presidency were missing from the material that it received as he left office, the agency requested records from Trump on or about the 6th of May, 2021. So on the 6th of May, NARA's like, oh shit, we need some documents from your presidency that have gone missing. Okay? On December 2021, NARA continued to make requests for records it believed to be missing for several months. Around late December 2021, a Trump representative informed the agency that an additional 12 boxes of records that should have been turned over had been found at the former president's Mar-a-Lago club and residence and were ready to be retrieved. Okay? So they were like, oh, we need some of these documents. We figured out that you have these documents. Can we please have them back? Please, 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 please. Right? They said it kindly. They said it gently. Because these are nerds. They're fucking, number crunchers, pencil pushers. They're not interested in fucking pissing off the former president who is, known to regularly fly off the fucking heels, fly off the handles. I don't know what the term there is, but he's a crazy guy. They don't want to fucking rock the boat. These guys are basically librarians, okay? They're not trying to fight Donald Trump. So then, on the 18th of January 2022, NARA received 15 boxes of presidential records that had been stored at Mar-a-Lago. So the Trump administration complied, and they said, oh yeah, here you go. 14 of which, it would later be revealed, contained classified documents. The documents were found mixed in with an assortment of other material, including newspapers, magazines, photos, and personal correspondence. In total, the boxes were found to contain 184 documents with classified markings, including 67 marked confidential, 92 secret, and 25 top secret. Agents who inspected the boxes also found special markings suggesting they included information from highly sensitive human sources or the collection of electronic signals authorized by a court under the FISA Court, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. On the 9th of February 2022, the special agent in charge of NARA's Office of the Inspector General sent a referral to the Justice Department via email after a preliminary review of the boxes, which revealed numerous classified documents. Okay? Of most significant concern, they wrote, according to a heavily redacted affidavit released last week, was that highly classified records were unfolded, intermixed with other records, and otherwise improperly identified. After an initial investigation of the NARA referral, the FBI opened a criminal investigation into the matter. Okay? On the 10th of February 2022, Trump's Save America PAC released a statement insisting the return of the documents had been as routine and no big deal. Trump insisted the papers were given easily and without conflict and on a very friendly basis, and added, it was a great honor to work with NARA to help formally preserve the Trump legacy. God, it's so funny. NARA revealed in a letter to a Congressional Oversight Committee that classified information was found in 15 recovered boxes and confirmed the Justice Department referral. Trump's Save America PAC released another statement insisting the National Archives did not find anything but were given upon request. Presidential records in an ordinary and routine process to ensure the preservation of my legacy and in accordance with the Presidential Records Act. On the 12th of April 2022, NARA informed Trump of its intent to provide the documents to the FBI at the request of the Justice Department, and a Trump representative requested an extension until the 29th of April. On the 29th of April, the Justice Department sent a letter to Trump's lawyers seeking immediate access to the material, citing important national security interest. Access to the materials is not necessarily necessary for purposes of our ongoing criminal investigation, but the executive branch must also conduct an assessment of the potential damage resulting from the apparent manner in which these materials were stored and transported, and take away any necessary remedial steps, the department wrote. Trump's lawyers requested an additional extension. On the 10th of May 2022, NARA informed Trump's lawyers that it will provide the FBI access to the records as soon as the 12th of May. On the 11th of May, the Justice Department issued a subpoena for additional records. On the 3rd of June 2023, 3 FBI agents and a DOJ attorney went to Mar-a-Lago to collect additional materials offered by a Trump attorney in response to the subpoena. They were given a single red-weld envelope, double wrapped in tape, containing the documents, according to the 30 of August filing. That envelope, it was later found, contained 38 documents with classified markings, including 5 documents marked confidential, 16 marked secret, and 17 marked top secret. During the visit, the filing said, counsel for the former president offered no explanation as to why boxes of government records, including 38 documents with classification markings, remained at the premises nearly 5 months after the production of the 15 boxes and nearly 1.5 years after the end of the administration. Why did they not give all of the materials back to NARA when it was asked for multiple times, kindly and gently? Trump's lawyers also told investigators that all of the records that had come from the White House were stored in one location, a Mar-a-Lago storage room. Investigators were permitted to visit the room, but were explicitly prohibited from opening or looking inside any of the boxes they reported, giving no opportunity for the government to confirm that no documents with classification markings remained. The Justice Department was also given a signed certification letter stating that a diligent search had been completed and that no documents remained. On the 8th of June 2022, okay, so for you saying Trump hasn't finished reading them, wrong. Trump might not know how to read, okay? That's a joke. But, like, he's not a big reader, okay? We know that already. We know that it's from his presidency. He's not, like, the biggest reader. He doesn't care about these documents because he wants to read them, okay? The Justice Department on the 8th of June sent a letter to Trump's lawyers requesting that the storage room be secured and that all of the boxes were moved from the White House to Mar-a-Lago, along with any other items in that room, be preserved in that room in their current condition until further notice. On the 5th of August 2022, the Justice Department filed an application for a search and seizure warrant of Mar-a-Lago, citing probable cause that additional presidential records and records containing classified information remained in various parts of the club. There is also probable cause to believe that evidence of obstruction would be found. Read a heavily redacted copy of the affidavit laying out the FBI's rationale for the search. What does it mean? It means that when the DOJ said, hey, what the fuck are you doing? These are classified documents. Why didn't you give these classified documents back to the authorities, the federal authorities that need to preserve these classified documents? Trump just, for one reason or another, and I still don't fully understand why, refused to comply. And when he acted like he truly complied, he still kept some of the documents. And some of those documents were top secret. Now, it makes no sense until you find out he was also bragging about having these documents and knew full well that it was top secret. So we're going to get to that. I'm running ahead of myself, okay? I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to fucking give you I don't want to give you the juice here, okay? Okay. The Justice Department also revealed in the 30th August filing that it had found evidence that government records were likely concealed and removed from the storage room and that the efforts were taken likely to obstruct the government's investigation. The U.S. Magistrate Judge Bruce Reinhardt in South Florida approved the application that same day. On the 8th of August, the FBI executed the search at Mar-a-Lago, seizing 36 items of evidence. There was, by my count, and I'm not entirely certain here because there's a lot of stuff here, I believe 5 or 6 different points in time where this Mar-a-Lago raid could have been avoided, okay? Not only could it have been completely avoided, but it also did not have to be considered a raid whatsoever. Trump was the one who called it a fucking raid and made it a major point of contention and a major issue, because that very same process happened with Joe Biden and Mike Pence as well. Okay? Baba, kapıyı açtın mı arka gate'i? Açtın, sağ ol. He tried to manipulate the situation further and it backfired hard. Yes, we know why he tried to manipulate that situation. He manipulated that situation for political gain. I truly believe that he thought that the FBI had no case and that he had every right and responsibility to be able to do whatever the fuck he wanted with top secret materials, and that, and therefore he could have just utilized this as like basically a bullshit situation where the federal agencies are coming after him for no reason whatsoever, and that he was the most innocent man on the planet. And he thought, this will be a good boost. Okay, this will help me. This will be a good boost for galvanizing my base. Okay? I can just say that it's a big raid. I'm saying, like, the reason why he claimed it was a raid and not like regular routine processes, which, as we know from both the DOJ and NARA, numerous times they tried to get Trump to be fucking normal about the situation and get Trump to comply. Okay? Even when they sent in their cruisers over to Mar-a-Lago, it was not supposed to be like a raid, you know what I mean? Trump was the one who basically presented it as such. Okay? So he did that because I think he wanted to galvanize the base. But that also ended up backfiring on him. So anyway, the FBI executed the search at Mar-a-Lago, seizing 36 items of evidence on the 8th of August, if you recall, including boxes and containers holding more than 100 classified records, an order pardoning Trump ally Roger Stone, and information about the president of France. Agents found classified documents both in the storage room as well as in the former president's office, including 3 classified documents found not in boxes, but in office desks. They included items so sensitive that, in some instances, even the FBI counterintelligence personnel and DOJ attorneys conducting the review required additional clearances before they were permitted to review those certain documents. A clearance that I'm sure every Mar-a-Lago dentist did not have, but access they certainly did. Okay? Like if you were a used car dealership owner and a recipient of a Mar-a-Lago Club access, okay, a Mar-a-Lago Club membership recipient, you could just go up to Trump and be like, show me these classified documents again. Want to see this cool thing about Macron? He's gay, folks. That the FBI, in a matter of hours, recovered twice as many documents with classification markings as the diligent search that the former president's counsel and other representatives had weeks to perform calls into serious question the representations made in the 3rd of June certification and cast doubt on the extent of cooperation in this matter. That's what the Justice Department said. Trump and his allies, meanwhile, cast the search as a weaponization of the criminal justice system aimed at damaging him politically as he prepares for another potential White House run. On the 12th of August, 2022, Judge Reinhardt unsealed the warrant that authorized the FBI to search Mar-a-Lago, which details that federal agents were investigating potential violations of 3 federal laws, including the Espionage Act. On the 26th of August, 2022, a highly redacted version of the affidavit laying out the FBI's rationale for searching Mar-a-Lago was released. On the 30th of August 2022, the Justice Department responded to Trump's request for a special master in a filing that included new details about the investigation, including the assertion that classified documents were likely concealed and removed from a storage room at Mar-a-Lago as a part of an effort to obstruct the probe. It included a photograph of some of the material found at the club, including cover pages of paperclip-bound documents, some marked as top secret SCI with bright yellow borders, and one marked as secret SCI with a rust-colored border, splayed out on a carpet at Mar-a-Lago. Terrible the way the FBI, during the raid of Mar-a-Lago, threw documents haphazardly all over the floor, perhaps pretending it was me that did it, said Trump. And then started taking pictures of them for the public to see, Trump responded. Thought they wanted them kept secret. Which is an incredible own. Like, it's not I that's mishandling the documents, it's the FBI. Because they did that, like, whole, you know, the classic shot that they do when they find shit. Here's how the documents were being stored, by the way. For the record. Imagine taking a shit at Mar-a-Lago in front of state secrets. I'm losing my fucking mind. Okay. It's just reading material, folks. Light reading material. Anyway. Yes, we're going to do the full indictment in a second. You're spoiling it. Stop spoiling it. Spoiler alert. We're not done yet. On the 6th of September 2022, U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon grants Trump's request for a special master over DOJ objections, an action that delays the investigation. Senior U.S. District Judge Raymond Dearie of Brooklyn is later named to run that third-party review. On the 15th of September 2022, the Justice Department seeks to access the classified materials taken in the search. Cannon rejects the bid. But the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals later allows DOJ to review the documents. Can you imagine? It's like, no, we need a special prosecutor. We need a special prosecutor, folks. And then they do it. And then the special prosecutor is like, or a special investigator is like, yeah, no, actually, you can't review the materials to assess what kind of harm was conducted. On the 16th of November, Trump announces that he will run for the Republican nomination in 2024, which, of course, he thought was like an AOE shield. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. I said it. I'm running for president. Now you can't investigate me. Bye-bye. I win. And he did that famously early, for the record. Okay? He did that very early. He was like, everyone was like, this is unceremonious. This is weird. Why is he doing it early? I believe it was because he wanted to, again, like I said, an energy barrier. He thought, I'm running for president. Now this is a political case. On the 22nd of November, 2022, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed a U.S. Special Counsel, Jack Smith, to preside over criminal matters relating to Trump, including, but not limited to, the classified documents investigation. On the 1st of December, a federal appeals court reverses Cannon's appointment of a special master in the case, finding she lacked the authority to appoint one. The ruling gives the Justice Department access to all material seized in the search of Trump's property, which of course it did. Chill, girl. On the 7th of December, at least 2 classified records are found during a further search of Trump's properties, sources say. On the 7th of December, this is now almost an entire year, there are still classified records in other Trump properties. On December 2022, Trump lawyer Tim Parlatore, another one of Trump's, crackpot lawyer teams, like his legal team, which is WASP-free, by the way. It's just exclusively the most Catholic lawyer team I've ever seen, okay? This will be relevant in a little bit. Appears before a federal grand jury in Washington to describe efforts to search Trump properties for any remaining government documents. They're like, no, you found everything. I know that we keep leaking documents left and right, but you found everything. Please don't do that any longer, please. On the 24th of March in 2023, Trump's lawyer, Evan Corcoran, appears before a federal grand jury in Washington after a federal judge finds that Smith's team made a sufficient showing that Trump may have deceived his attorneys in furtherance of a crime. On the 17th of May in 2023, Parlatore confirms that he has left Trump's legal team. He later says on CNN that he exited over disagreements with others over handling of the probe, claiming Trump aide Boris Epshteyn prevented attorneys from properly defending the former president. A Trump spokesperson denies the claims. On the 8th of June 2023, Trump fumes on Truth Social that he has been indicted over the case, insisting, "I am an innocent man." Now, that was yesterday. He said the corrupt Biden administration has informed my attorneys that I have been indicted, seemingly over the boxes hoax. He seethed in a separate post. The most innocent man in America. Now, today, we found out more information. That brought us up to today. The indictment has officially been unsealed as of today. Okay? So now we're going to get to that. Now we're going to get to even more details. This also happened as Donald Trump. They don't know how to classify documents. Yes, we do. They are on stage literally behind you. Okay. So this is the indictment. Now, it's boring. I'm not going to fucking go through piece by piece. We'll just watch a video covering the indictment. But also, simultaneously, while the indictment was unsealed, because a lot of these charges that they have, okay, a lot of these charges they have are, all over the place. It's just, mishandling documents, all this shit. But is it illegal? Well, yeah, it kind of is, but it could be like a misdemeanor or a low-level offense. Well, part of the reason why it's no longer a low-level offense is because Donald Trump personally made it a higher offense, like himself, in 2018. Okay? So that was one of the aspects, one of the issues there. He personally did that, which is fucking awesome. Okay? But also, not only that, but it's kind of hard to prove some of these charges, like an intent to defraud in the Manhattan DA case. If you remember, in the Manhattan case, you have to literally prove that Trump had malicious intent to defraud the voters, right? But Donald Trump is such a unique kind of criminal that he is exactly the type of criminal that openly states everything. Now, this is before we found out anything else, okay? This is what I said. Okay? This is what I said yesterday. Let's hear what I had to say yesterday.
Move that box, and that person didn't know anything about that. That's not a conspiracy. That's a crime by Donald Trump, not the guy moving the box. If they both knew and had a meeting of the minds, this is illegal and we're doing it, that is a conspiracy. And I also want to underscore the fact that this...
Dude, if they're saying this in the investigation, I 100% believe that Trump had a conversation. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh my God. Trump is such a fucking dumbass, dude. Oh my God, 100p, dude. He 100% would have been like, yeah, this is very illegal, folks. Very illegal. You better hide it good.
in 2020. He's enormously unpopular there, would have had a very unfavorable jury pool. In Florida,
Yes. Yes.
he's going to have a much more favorable.
Turns out, once again, your boy was 100% correct, okay? Like, literally, the most correct on this issue. Do you understand me? That's right. Donald Trump, literally, according to CNN tapes that was uncovered, straight up knew that the fucking documents were illegally in his presence, knew that he was holding on to top secret documents. Let's take a look. Let's go to the fucking tape. Let's hear CNN's damning admissions on tape. Trump's damning admissions on tape.
CNN exclusively reported the prosecutors had an audio recording of Trump admitting he kept a classified Pentagon document about a potential attack on Iran. Well, now, and this is what is new, we are learning exactly what former President Trump said during that private meeting in 2021.
Now, according to a transcript of that recording, Trump acknowledged he hadn't declassified the document, and they didn't have the power to do so. He told people in the room, quote, "As president, I could have declassified, but now I can't." You'll note that goes completely against what the former president has been saying.
I don't know what to say. It's like if there is a rule that is broken, that is very hard to turn into like a severe crime, unless you very openly mention that that it's a crime, you know it's a crime, and you're doing it in a criminal way. Donald Trump is there doing it, dude. He's there doing the damn thing. I said this earlier today. I said Trump is the king of breaking rules brazenly in the only way that it would make it super illegal. He is an artist in that regard. Like, never has there ever been like a villain that is so cartoonish. Like, this is like, what is it, Mugatu, or the villain from like the Powerpuff Girls. You know what I mean? It's just like he's basically foiling his own plans all the fucking time. And never does he ever say like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this again. Maybe I should learn from my mistakes. Oh, Mojo Jojo. He's just so, like, he is like Plankton on SpongeBob. He's like a cartoon villain where he's like, I am going to do something very illegal. I sure hope the authorities don't hear about it. The way the shit poster predicted exactly what happened. If they knew this would be a felony, said the former president, waving around an original constitution from the Smithsonian and speaking directly into a recorder, but they'll never know. They'll never know because I'm too smart. I mean, yeah, that's basically what I said as well. In July 2021 at Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey, during an audio recorded meeting with a writer, a publisher, 2 staff members, none of whom possessed the security clearance, Trump showed and described a plan of attack that Trump said was prepared for him by the Department of Defense and a senior military official. Trump told the individuals that the plan was highly confidential and secret. Trump also said, as president, I could have declassified it, and now I can't. You know, but this is still a secret. In August or September of 2021, at Bedminster Club, Trump showed a representative of his political action committee who did not possess a security clearance and a classified map related to a military operation, and told the representative that he should not be showing it to the representative and that the representative should not get too close. Don't get too close. I shouldn't be showing this to you. It's highly illegal for your eyes to see it, but you can see it, but not too close. I love him so much. Okay? You cannot write something this dumb, except I predicted that it would be this dumb, and I was right, but still. There was another clip. It wasn't just me saying, like, Trump is the only one that is the type of dude who would admit it. I think I had a separate clip on there where I basically predicted the line of attack as well, like how he would say. Is Trump just trying to impress people? Like, why the fuck is he running around showing people these docs? Great question. And to give you an answer on that front, I'm going to give a shout out to the Chapo boys, who I agree with on this issue. They were one of the first people to say the likely reason why Trump kept all of this classified intelligence was not necessarily to, like, sell shit, which, you know, it could have happened as well on the side, but literally to flex, to just flex to some of the greasiest losers at Mar-a-Lago, just for a brag. And here you go. In August or September 2021 at the Bedminster Club, Trump showed a representative of his PAC who did not possess, we already covered that. Oh, this is the Rolling Stone article, the old one. Kid Rock says Trump turned to him for advice on how to handle North Korea. We're looking at maps and shit, and I'm like, am I supposed to be in on this shit? The Rocker told Tucker Carlson. He wanted to impress Kid Rock with, like, top secret classified intelligence on North Korea. Like, the guy who wrote the fucking pedophile song, talking about, what was it, like, what was it, grass in the field, play ball? What was his line in it, in Osmosis Jones? Oh, sorry. Worse than that. Some say it's statutory. I say it's mandatory. That's the guy who Donald Trump had review top secret intelligence. The guy who wrote, where was it? Oh, I think it was right here.
Now some people say my mind's blown. I'm cooling like a snow cone. And my cell phone, I'm pagey. Can't call me, just page me. Young ladies, I like them underage. See, some say that's statutory, but I say it's mandatory.
Young ladies, I like them underage, see. Some people, some say it's statutory. I call it mandatory. That's Kid Rock. Kid Rock wrote that song for Osmosis. And Osmosis Jones. Donald Trump gave that guy top secret documents to look at. Actually, he had Joey C say the mandatory part, and he was a dwarf, so he is allowed? Question mark. Yeah. So that happened. That's a real thing that happened. Okay. Yeah, Kid Rock was like, Kids Rock. What do you mean? Trump posted this image again. Boxes stored on the White House sidewalk for all to see prior to being moved down to Florida. Nothing hide here. Witch hunt. He's like, no, I've been mishandling documents brazenly since the jump, you fucking idiots. I'm actually doing more crimes than you thought. Okay? Checkmate, stupid. Oh, it's so fucking good. Anyway, let's get back to the tape.
Saying publicly.
Do you still have any classified documents in your possession?
Are you ready?
Do you?
No, I don't have anything. I have
That could objectively be a lie, by the way. It probably is.
no classified documents. And by the way, they become automatically declassified when I took them. If you're the president of the United States, you can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it, because you're sending it to Mar-a-Lago or to wherever you're sending it. When you send it, it's declassified. I declassified everything.
Well, CNN's Paula Reed broke this story. Paula Reed joins us now. Paula, it's big developments. Walk us through the transcript.
Well, good morning, Phil. This exclusive, of course, building on our bombshell report last week with Caitlin Collins and Caitlin Polans about this recording where the former president not only claims to have retained classified information, but also acknowledges the limits of his power to do so. And now we have the transcript of the relevant portion, and I'm going to read some parts of that, but it's clear he acknowledges or claims that he kept secret information. Now, in this recording, this was back in July 2021, he is speaking to some visitors at his New Jersey golf club. We know from our sources that among the people in the room were at least 2 people working on Mark Meadows' autobiography, as well as some Trump aides. He is referring here to General Mark Milley. He says, quote, "Well, with Milley, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. Isn't that amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. On the tape, we're told that you can hear him rustling the papers at this point. Look, this was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him. We looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him." I'll keep reading, but you can tell at least 4 times, he emphasizes that this was Milley. He goes on to say all sorts of stuff, pages long. Look, wait a minute. Let's see here. I just found, isn't this amazing? This totally wins my case. And I want to note here, his case he's referring to here is this dispute with Milley, not the current pending criminal investigation. Except it is like highly confidential. Secret. This is secret information.
Look at this highly confidential information. Look at it. Look directly at the highly confidential information that I am illegally showing you. This wins a petty argument that I have for me. I am doing a crime to win an argument that Mark Milley is probably even unaware is even happening. Look at this top secret document that is super illegal for you to see. Is exactly what I said he was going to fucking do. And he did it. He literally did it.
Look at this. I will note that secret and confidential are both, of course, levels of classification. And then arguably the most damning quote, he says, he asks someone in the room if he can declassify it. And then he says, as president, I could have declassified, but now I can't. And of course, that last quote undercutting all of the public arguments that he, his allies, and his attorneys have made about how he was able to declassify things once he left office, or that he may have even had a standing declassification order to declassify any materials in his possession before he left office. But in terms of the investigation, prosecutors are likely going to be most interested in the fact that he is claiming to have retained secret information and is appearing to try to share that with a room full of people, none of whom had security clearances. So again, this is a really key piece of evidence in this ongoing investigation.
Yeah, Paul.
This is a good tweet. At the time, for some reason, I did not think this would become as big as a thing as it did. I don't know why, lol. Within the past year and a half, Trump's guests at Mar-a-Lago have at times witnessed the ex-president brandishing certain objects or papers, claiming they were mementos from his stint in the White House as he gave informal tours of his Florida homestead. As I told you guys, like, it's literally, it's not even, for the most part, it's not even as severe as, like, if they have an espionage charge in there, like, I'm sure there's some people that probably took advantage of Trump doing this all the time. But for the most part, it was probably the show at the dentists, okay? It was the show at the jet ski dealership owners. He literally just wanted to flex that he had these top secret classified information for no particular reason other than clout. It reminded me of how he'd give tours of the bathrooms and the toilets when he lived in the White House. One of the knowledgeable sources says he likes to show off, even if he isn't supposed to have those things. It was, of course, flagged for me that Maggie had a version of this earlier this year because, of course, she did. Still unclear to me why it took at least 8 months to get these documents back to Nara. By several accounts, he was waving documents from boxes at people at Mar-a-Lago. It's so good. It's so fucking good. He's like Mr. Bean, dude. He's off the bean.
Well, this was, reading your reporting this morning, it was a genuine kind of jaw-drop moment for a minute, just because of how many things it seemed to rebut about what the president has said publicly. You kind of got at this a little bit, but what is your sense of how this will factor into things going forward or into the indictments that we haven't seen yet?
When we were doing our reporting on the existence of this audio recording last week, I mean, one source close to the legal team told me, look, this audio recording, this is a problem. And the former president's legal team only learned about this a few months ago in March when a witness was asked about it before the grand jury. I also want to note that prosecutors subpoenaed the document that he refers to, and they still don't have it. It's unclear, one, what this document was. If it was indeed a real document, though it appears by this transcript, he does clearly think.
Honestly, hope nothing happens to him so more people share secret stuff in the government with no consequences. If you think that would set a precedent for, like, random people who are whistleblowers, you're out of your mind, okay? Like, I think that he might actually get into trouble for this, but also on top of that, there's no way that this level of allowances will be given to, like, actual whistleblowers. Even that Texaria dude, who basically was doing the exact same thing that Trump was doing, just weaponizing his security clearance to, like, groom his little Discord kittens, okay? Like, that dude's going to jail, dog. He's 100% going to jail.
That he is in possession of something, that he is showing them something that supports his argument against Milley. But at this point, it's not clear that the government even has this document in its possession. So we don't have the indictment at this point. It's unclear when that will be unsealed, but it would not be surprising if this audio recording or quotes from it come up in the indictment. But at this point, we don't know. It's clearly, though, a piece of evidence that even the former president's legal team acknowledges is a problem for him.
This is remarkable in every way, Paula. Everyone should go on CNN.com right now and read through your report because you have all of these stunning quotes in there. Thank you for this. Stick with us. Let's also bring in Caitlin Polantz, live outside the courthouse in Miami, where Trump will appear Tuesday afternoon. You were one of the reporters who broke the story of that taped conversation. This development to that is extremely significant.
It is. Poppy and Phil, we knew what this was going to sound like because it had been described to us, but to see the words there on the screen, to hear Paula read those words that former President Donald Trump uttered after he left the White House in this meeting, where it's capturing the sound of him rustling through papers, where there are multiple witnesses in the room. And, the big question here, as Paula was saying, is this going to be part of the charge explicitly?
Am I wearing a suit on Tuesday? The answer is fuck yes, dude. Are you crazy? Listen, dude. Listen. Couple things are absolute certainties on the HasanAbi broadcast. Top of the hour comes with a 3-minute ad break. You can avoid that top of the hour ad break by subscribing or by getting gifted a sub if you're lucky. Another certainty on the HasanAbi broadcast is I'm wearing a motherfucking suit when Trump is getting arraigned or indicted, has to appear for court. I'm doing it. You know, I'm celebrating his downfall, but mostly I'm celebrating the content that comes out of it. Let's be real. This kind of shit is very entertaining to me because Trump is so fucking, he is so entertaining, dude. There is no other way to cut it. Like the way he operates, the way he carries himself, the way he fucking conducts business, the way he does crimes, it's fire. It's fucking awesome. Sandwich time. Thank you for the 5 gifted, allowing 5 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. It's crazy. FBI raided a Discord server because Trump's documents, Fox News reported. FBI raids Hoscord. Oh no. Probably a good thing, honestly. Fucking clear that shit out.
And if it is, that sets this recording up to be a key piece of evidence as this heads to trial. It would be something that the Justice Department would very likely play to the jury, almost certainly, if that is part of what is indicted here as a retention charge. And once they have that retention charge, that is something we know that is going to be charged in the case because Donald Trump's attorney last night, Jim Trusty, said it would be. We don't know exactly what paper it will be around, what classified documents, but if it is about this document he's describing in this audio tape, and that episode is part of this from July 2021 at Bedminster, if that's part of the case, they have to prove 2 things. That Donald Trump knew he had a classified record or a national defense information piece of paper in his possession, and that he was willfully keeping it from the federal government outside of a protected classification area. Not that he has the ability to declassify it, although it is quite sensational that he says, as president, I could have declassified, but now I can't. But the other words in this, I'll show you. Look at this. Highly confidential. This is secret information. It doesn't really get much more explicit than that.
It really doesn't. Caitlin Polantz, also, stay right there. Let's bring in our colleague and friend, CNN anchor Caitlin Collins, who was also on that team that broke the stunning reporting last week. CNN senior justice correspondent Evan Perez also joins us, and CNN legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Elliot Williams is with us, and CNN political analyst and senior political correspondent for the New York Times, Maggie Haberman. Paula Reed also back with us. I want to read part of this transcript. Quote, as president, I could have declassified, but now I can't.
Wait, what? Charlie Kirk pleads with Trump GOP competition to suspend their campaigns in solidarity with Trump. Ann Coulter coming after Charlie Kirk, saying, that's nothing. I'm calling on every Republican that commits suicide in solidarity with Trump. Otherwise, we don't have a country, folks. Damn, Ann Coulter is so far off the Trump train. It's not even funny, dude. Holy shit. Ann Coulter and her kind are quite literally responsible for Donald Trump, I would say. With the rhetoric that they presented as normal and like how they routinely dialed up the fucking psychometer on the Republican commentary side, that basically opened up the floodgates for someone like Donald Trump to take on that exact same narrative and you know, become president by doing exactly what the fucking TV people were saying, only to later realize, and Ann Coulter got off the Trump chain for the record, only to later realize, like, oh man, it's fine if we do it. It's not great when the president does it because it doesn't reflect well on a national campaign. Law tip. I've met murderers with a better instinct of self-preservation than this motherfucker. I'll talk to cops and clear this whole thing up type beat. Worse than that, in my opinion. Worse than that.
perhaps the most stunning line of all of this. Caitlin Collins, let me go to you for your thoughts, given you were a key part of this team that broke the original reporting. I
did call Ann Coulter old one time in a televised debate where I owned her.
Expect that would be a key part when
She refused to look me in the eyes
this
while we were
indictment
debating.
is unsealed. Everyone will be looking for, was this tape a key part of it? Because this was, again, about Iran. This was about a key national security issue.
Yeah, and it completely undercuts everything that Trump and his legal team has said publicly about the powers that he had after leaving office or what he could do with these documents. And I do think that is one of those damning lines of the transcript of this tape that we reported on. And there's a reason this tape has caused so much consternation in Trump's legal team. They didn't learn about it all that long ago. It was only in March when this recording was played during testimony from another Trump aide where they heard it. And then Trump's legal team was alerted to the fact that prosecutors did have this audio in their hands. And having Trump on tape admitting that he doesn't have the power to declassify it, which we all knew because we've read the Presidential Records Act, we've looked at what that declassification process is, but it completely undercuts any of the defenses that you've seen Trump's legal team offer up publicly. And so that is why this is such a central piece in this reporting, of course, in the bigger context of what we saw last night with the former president being indicted in this, of course, now going where Caitlin Polance is on Tuesday to that Miami courthouse. This is going to be something that is a real problem for his legal team to try to defend in court and explain. And it's something that they are pretty candid about behind the scenes when it comes to just how crucial this tape is.
Elliot, as a lawyer, when you look through or listen to that transcript, there's, yes, him acknowledging that he can't unilaterally declassify things by magic or after the fact. He also seems to be holding and talking about a specific document. What stands out to you as most problematic for the former president's legal team?
Well, what helps the former president is it appears that they have not found this document, and it appears, based on what we know about the charges thus far, that he was not charged with disclosing the contents of a document to another person. That itself would have been a federal offense if he'd had access to something sensitive and shown it to somebody else, if it could hurt the national defense. Look, a challenge here is that classification or declassification doesn't really matter as an element of the offenses he's charged with. They're merely what it matters that they're government records, and most importantly, that there was a series of acts taken to obstruct the Justice Department's investigation. So it's a little bit of a red herring to go down the road of saying, if he declassified it, therefore there would not have been crimes committed here, because the simple fact is once the documents were removed, mishandled, misappropriated, whatever word you want to use, that's when the crimes were committed.
Attorney James Trusty, one
Why
of
does it end
the
that
members
way?
of former President Trump's legal team with us now. Mr. Trusty, good morning to you.
Morning.
Mr. Trusty, just first of all, what was the president's response to the charges? And when did you first learn that this grand jury in Florida was being used?
Yeah, well, on that last part, fairly recently, and it's a really intriguing kind of shift of events. I mean, there's been endless grand jury dragging people up from Florida to Washington, D.C. for many months. Everyone from the vice president of the United States to groundskeepers to maids to Secret Service agents to lawyers that supposedly hold privileges. So there's been a real bum rush in D.C. in terms of using an awful lot of grand jury and getting a lot of rulings that are historic and perhaps very bad for the country. Recently, we started to hear about witnesses going down or staying down in Florida to appear in front of the grand jury. And it could be a reflection of an acknowledgement by DOJ they had some venue problems, that they really never should have venued it in D.C., but they were very happy to get the kind of rulings and home cooking they got. Or it could be something where they want to sanitize, I guess kind of related to that, sanitize all of the proceedings from D.C. and kind of repackage, remarket it for consumption down in South Florida. So we'll see. As to the president, look, he's a resilient guy. This just in. He's a pretty tough guy. It's a difficult conversation when you're talking to a client who's actually factually innocent of these charges. I mean, and it's a long story we can get into there about the Presidential Records Act.
He's trusty, guys.
Yeah,
Don't
so
worry.
That part, he was upset for the country. But in terms of him, he's a fighter, and he's going to come out swinging, and he'll be fine. But, I mean, that was really, to me, kind of the interesting inside part of that is to see him almost immediately start talking about what it means for this country and our criminal justice system and not just about himself.
Is he going to appear on Tuesday? And Jim, do you think he'll?
Yeah, that's
also
definitely
face
not just
charges
his
in DC
defense.
as well?
He will appear in court on Tuesday, no doubt. He's not afraid of this thing. It's a ridiculous criminalization of a non-criminal dispute. So he'll be there, and and so will Secret Service, and we'll coordinate with U.S. Marshals and make sure that it is as efficient and safe as we can make the whole situation. As to any other charges, I don't think so. I mean, look, we think this whole investigation is an overreach. Again, something that was never criminal for any other president in history has suddenly been weaponized by this Department of Justice. It would be, another bridge too far for them to try to break up charges for some reason to kind of hedge their bets and charge him in Washington, D.C. as well. So we think that this is it. We'll see the indictment sometime between now and Tuesday afternoon, and we think that's the only indictment that we're facing.
You're his lawyer, so obviously you're going to maintain his innocence, but...
Not anymore. Not anymore. As of 5 hours ago, Trump lawyer Trusty and Rowley have both resigned.
Jim, I think a lot of folks have a hard time understanding how
he went on the Today Show and then fucking resigned.
The president can maintain he did nothing wrong when the fact of the matter is that the president had documents at his home that were classified. As we understand it, there was a subpoena issued to turn over those documents. In August of last year, the lawyer maintains that all the documents were overturned. The FBI then shows up at Mar-a-Lago and finds roughly 100 classified documents. How can the president maintain he did nothing wrong?
Yeah, well, the starting point is up until the Presidential Records Act, any former president could possess anything they want. I mean, that was just kind of the nature of the business. We've entrusted them under the Constitution with the nation's secrets. So if they want to keep stuff, they can keep it. The PRA, the Presidential Records Act, kicked in because of Richard Nixon. And what it anticipates is nothing criminal. There's no criminal statute within the Presidential Records Act that says it's a violation to possess any of these things, even the most sensitive documents. What they say is the world is presidential or personal, and the president, of all people, the former president, makes the call. If the archivist disagrees, it doesn't turn into a criminal case. They can sue civilly in Washington, D.C. So the whole system anticipates that we've entrusted our former presidents with the nation's secrets, documentary or otherwise. Yeah. And if there is any sort of fight, it gets resolved civilly, not with rage, not with a leak campaign, Jim, not with what we've seen in this case.
Jim, I know you spent a number of years at the Justice Department. You know the special counsel, Jack Smith, pretty well. Even if your client did nothing wrong, why not tell your client to at least knock off the personal attacks on the special counsel?
Look, this guy has lived through 7 years of misplaced aggression, of ridiculous impeachments, of accusations, of, Michael Cohen, Stormy Daniels lawsuits or criminal cases being revived by politicized prosecutors. You can't, when you look at what we've seen in terms of the conduct of this investigation, he has every right to be offended, as should all of us. I mean, it's just broken in the last couple of days. We've known about it for a while, that one of the deputies for Jack Smith extorted an attorney to try to get him to flip his witness.
Jim, to be clear, and I've heard you make this claim before, we don't have any independent evidence, and so far you haven't produced any independent evidence to back that up. But
that's awesome. They're classic. I love that when they're just like, oh yeah, by the way, every single person, isn't it crazy that every single person that happens to find Trump, like happens to investigate Trump, is always just a bad guy somehow. You don't even need any evidence for it though. Just take my word for it. It's just always like, they just always happen to be a bad guy. Okay. I don't know how. I don't know why, but they just always somehow, I guess they must be bad because they don't like Donald Trump.
To your point there, twice impeached, now twice indicted. The president plans to campaign this weekend to those who would say that we like the former president. We like some of his policies, but now the guy has too much baggage. What would you say to those Republican primary voters?
Look, I'm not in the
political... This is a fucking lawyer. Why are you asking him that?
Lane, I'm in the legal lane, but to go back to your kind of dismissal of what I just said, There is a statement by an officer of the court, a very well-respected attorney, submitted to a federal judge detailing exactly what I just said, the extortion, the violation of the obstruction statute by those who are trying to pin an obstruction charge on President Trump. That is a momentous moment, and nothing I've ever seen in the Department of Justice in my history, and it will play out. This is not just lawyer talk. This is the real thing.
You're talking about a sealed letter to a judge there. Jim Trusty. Jim, thank you. Thanks for your time, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, let us bring in NBC senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett and our chief White House correspondent Kristen Welker. Laura, if you're listening to Trump's attorney, it seemed like they were sort of surprised by the fact that this indictment came down. What do you make of that?
It's interesting. They almost were in the position as all of us this time last week, not even knowing about the Florida grand jury, and seemed to only fairly recently, he said, been informed by it, even though Jack Smith apparently had been quietly working away on this for the better part of a month, and witnesses were going in there unbeknownst to us. But, he's making this point about retaining classified documents as if everybody does it. Everybody does not keep the documents after they've been asked to return them repeatedly. That's what makes this willful under the...
And that's it. Like, the idea that, like, everyone has, like, classified documents, like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, okay, fine. Makes sense, a little memento, right? From the wonderful time you had in office. But they give it back when asked. They don't fucking lie to the authorities and say, no, I gave it all back to you. And then get caught in that lie like 3 fucking times. The hilarious part is this probably would not have become as big as a controversy. I mean, it would have been a controversy regardless. But like, Trump cooked himself a little bit because he turned it into like a FBI raid when it could have been like a classic document extraction. Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, he could have tried to downplay it a little bit, but he made it a much larger issue from the jump, thinking that it wasn't going to be that big of a deal. Like, they had a subpoena for these things. They had a warrant for searching the premises. People would have probably covered it and been like, ooh, drama, there's cops at Mar-a-Lago. But it would not have become as big as Trump greatly overemphasizing the severity of the situation. In a situation like what happened in Mar-a-Lago, he could have very clearly just said, oh, this is normal, part of the part and parcel, part of the process. Who amongst us hasn't like mismanaged some files here and there? Who gives a fuck? The FBI came in. We told them, they can look at the entirety of Mar-a-Lago. He could have lied in the other direction and tried to downplay the severity of the situation, but he chose for political gain. It miscalculated for political gain that this would be a good opportunity to galvanize the base. And that created a larger shitstorm because the Republicans started defending him immediately, started saying like, this is, the FBI weaponizing, criminal investigations and criminal charges and blah, blah, blah. And like, it put this situation, which could have been literally just, document mismanagement and maybe even seen otherwise as like kind of ridiculous in the eyes of the broader public. It turned it into a big deal, a big ordeal. So now I think he's like personally fucked himself over a little bit by highlighting the situation.
The statute, and that's why this has escalated into a criminal case. It's very different than finding some documents by accident and then immediately turning them over. That is not this case.
So just to be clear, so for a year, Trump has had these documents. He was asked repeatedly to return them. So in these charges, which we don't know what they are because they're sealed, it has something to do with the retention of them, right?
It has to do with the retention of them having no authority to keep them. He's no longer president, and he's keeping them in an unclassified setting.
All right. So, Kristen, let me talk to you for a second.
Which he
so
had
you
full
wonder,
knowledge
is this
over.
going to help Trump or hurt Trump? Well, moments after the indictment came down, he was fundraising on it. So it seems like former President Trump thinks
he can't even claim he didn't know. He literally openly on tapes said, oh, this is very illegal. Shouldn't be showing it to you, but I will. Bye-bye.
this is going to be something that's going to help him out.
You're right, Hoda. In the short term, there's no doubt this is emboldening him yet again. We saw this in the wake of the New York indictment as well. You have a number of his Republican rivals rushing to criticize the process, accusing DOJ of being weaponized by the Biden administration. But I do think there are a couple of differences here. One, you do have some challengers who are criticizing him. Asa Hutchinson saying that he has too much legal back.
Okay, let's get to the motherfucking juice here. Okay, let's get to what the freaks are saying. Now that you know what you know. Okay, well, leaked social security number and phone number on Fox News. Has DeSantis responded? Yeah, like a little dog. Okay. Oh God, this guy's back.
Distance between him
motherfucking
and the obstructive act. It's just
motherfucking Kellyanne Conway's husband.
With Nixon, it took a long chain of
don't know why they keep posting this fucking
Nixon.
guy.
Nixon was way up at the top of the pyramid, and he really was the last to know. Trump is here in the boxes, messing with the boxes, moving them around, and it is at his home, in his bathroom, over a toilet. I mean, it's crazy how powerful this evidence is, and you just take 1/10 of this, and you have a case that's airtight.
Yeah, very, very powerful case indeed. Audie Cornish is with us as well. The indictment lists public statements Trump had previously made about the importance of protecting classified information. I want to play some clips. Listen to this.
I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information. No one will be above the law. We can't have someone in the Oval Office who doesn't understand the meaning of the word confidential or classified.
What's your reaction when you hear what he used to say as opposed to what he actually did?
Well, politically, it's not all that unusual. You could probably play a similar round of clips around like deficit reduction or taxes, et cetera. I mean, that's kind of his MO in terms of this is okay for me to do, it's not okay for someone else to do. I think the question I have going forward is what are the other candidates going to have to do over the next couple of months to kind of mitigate the effect
Cum
of
spammers
this
are so
on
fucking
the
cringe,
entire
dude.
campaign, because it means that
It's cringe.
instead of talking about any
It's
of the
cringe.
political issues you want to
It's
talk
like
about,
funny
or the
when
economy, et cetera,
you know,
you won't only be asked about Trump in this
when I don't have
indictment.
fucking
You'll be
bandwidth.
asked, should a future president pardon?
When I don't, when
a
I'm
former
like
president? Should a future
accidentally
president do
getting
X, Y, and
knocked
Z?
offline or something
Everything
instead of
becomes a
spamming
kind of
F,
litmus
but
test for the voter, while they're balancing the old litmus test in the party, which is to back Trump no matter what.
And George Conway, I'm curious, 37 felony counts included in this lengthy indictment, including conspiracy to obstruct justice, which carries a maximum prison term of, 20 years. If he's convicted of conspiracy to obstruct justice, which you think there's a strong case he was involved in a conspiracy to obstruct justice.
No question.
Will he wind up in jail?
Well, I've always hesitated in the following sense. I think he will be convicted of multiple felonies. And the question is whether or not he has to be incarcerated in some fashion, whether it is in home detention or actual U.S. Bureau of Prisons facility. I don't see how he does not serve some kind of a sentence for this. It's just too much. If he doesn't go to jail or be put in house arrest, then we might as well just give up on enforcing the laws of protecting classified, sensitive national defense information.
You think he's going to wind up in jail?
I'm not going to make that prediction because I think we're a long way away from that. We're just at the charging stage. I think there's an opportunity if he were serious about addressing the serious criminal charges ahead of him to engage with the Justice Department in plea discussions. But this is a really hefty indictment. These are really serious charges. And if it was anyone else, the person would likely be in jail.
I assume you're right. All right, guys, thanks very, very much. Still ahead, we're going to tell you what we're learning right now about security concerns just ahead of Trump's schedule.
Oh, here, yeah. I mean, we talked about this already, but this also is like hoist it on your own petard situation, where Donald Trump, in an effort to do the lock her up Hillary Clinton shit, basically approved a law increasing penalties for mishandling classified information. Does Donald Trump give a shit about mishandling classified information? Clearly not. However, he did this specifically because he thought this would shut his audience the fuck up, like the people that wanted to lock Hillary Clinton in jail. He thought that it would be a good way to be like, look, I did what I can. Okay? I did what I can, folks. And basically what ended up happening in this situation is classic fucked up, classic situation where what he did ends up hurting him. Potentially. Bradley P. Moss, national security attorney, told Insider that Trump could face 5 years in prison if he's found guilty under a national security bill that he signed as president. Here it is.
This was not just extreme carelessness with classified material, which is still totally disqualifying. This is calculated, deliberate, premeditated misconduct, followed by a cover-up that included false statements and lies to Congress, the media, and the American people.
Yeah, I mean, this is when he's talking about Hillary Clinton.
Here's a question for you.
This is the new Trump ad that just, it didn't just get released, but I guess two days ago it got released.
Just how far are the radical left and inside the Beltway bandits willing to go to stop him? We all know they hate him for winning the fight to protect life, for exposing their deep state, for draining their precious swamp. And they already know he'll crush Biden. So like a pack of rabid wolves, they attack. So let's impeach him. Let's get tainted radical left prosecutors to charge him. Let's conspire with Hillary and the FBI with fake stories about him. All to distract from Biden's incompetence, weakness, and money-grabbing corruption. But here's the thing, he'll never blink. That's called having the courage of your convictions. And it's why he's our president.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I always wish that like the Democrats were as badass as the way that the Republicans present them as.
Jack Smith and his team are coming out. So let's
Anyway, here's the statement on the Trump indictment. Dude, by the way, this fucking dude, Jack Smith, straight up looks like one of those guys that you have in every movie, like the one guy who's like a radical prohibitionist, okay, but also simultaneously is like a good cop. You know what I mean? Like he's giving me like extremely and profoundly Christian man who definitely is into some like freaky ass Christian shit, but is like trying to hold the letter of the law vibes. He does not look like Adam 22 at all. Like very, very not empathetic. Very not empathetic at all. Like ruthless, but both in his pursuit of justice while also simultaneously just like not the type of person that you want to be around. He's very boring.
Good afternoon. Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with felony violations of our national security laws, as well as participating in a conspiracy to obstruct justice. This indictment was voted by a grand jury of citizens in the Southern District of Florida, and I invite everyone to read it in full to understand the scope and the gravity of the crimes charged. The men and women of the United States intelligence community and our armed forces dedicate their lives to protecting our nation and its people. Our laws that protect national defense information are critical to the safety and security of the United States, and they must be enforced. Violations of those laws put our country at risk. Adherence to the rule of law is a bedrock principle of the Department of Justice, and our nation's commitment to the rule of law sets an example for the world. We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone. Applying those laws, collecting facts, that's what determines the outcome of an investigation. Nothing more and nothing less.
Told you he's fucking boring.
The prosecutors in my office are...
Bro, this motherfucker's name is Jack Smith. Like this dude is just, he's like the type of dude, I don't know if he's Mormon or not, but he seems like the type of dude who just like lives and breathes like the ethics committee like investigations that he conducted. You know what I mean? That's all he cares about is like following the fucking rules to a goddamn T.
Among the most talented and experienced in the Department of Justice. They have investigated this case hewing to the highest ethical standards, and they will continue to do so as this case proceeds. It's very important for me to note that the defendants in this case must be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. To that end, my office will seek a speedy trial in this matter, consistent with the public interest and the rights of the accused. We very much look forward to presenting our case to a jury of citizens in the Southern District of Florida.
I can't tell if he's Mormon, but it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like he's Mormon because he's yeah, see? Yeah, okay. There you go. John L. Smith, or Jack Smith, is an American attorney who served in the United States Department of Justice as Assistant United States Attorney, Acting United States Attorney, and head of the department's Public Integrity Section. He was also the chief prosecutor at the Kosovo Specialist Chambers, an international tribunal at The Hague, tasked with investigating and prosecuting war crimes in the Kosovo War. In November 2022, he became an independent special counsel responsible for overseeing two pre-existing DOJ criminal investigations into former President Donald Trump, which include the January 6th attacks and mishandling of government records, including classified documents. But he's from Syracuse. Went to Harvard. Immediately after law school, went to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. He was a member of the Sex Crimes and Domestic Violence Unit. He was a competitive triathlete. He married Katie Shavigny, a documentary filmmaker known for becoming an award-winning 2020 documentary on Michelle Obama. They have a daughter. The couple has been living in the Netherlands since 2018. Wait, what the fuck? This man literally lives in the Netherlands? That's kind of fire. Why haven't they hit him with that? He worked at The Hague, I know. But why haven't they hit him with that? Like, oh, this guy's gay. He lives in Amsterdam where, you know, where he's making LGBT decisions. Like that type of shit. This guy likes riding bikes, folks. Isn't that gay? He's riding around in little bikes in Amsterdam. I call it Amsterdam. Some call it Amsterdam. Many people are saying Jack Smith, gay, folks. He's driving a tricycle wearing spandex. Big bike guy. Can we not give the bigots campaign ideas? Hello, welcome to the HasanAbi broadcast. This is like 90% of my commentary is like doing a shitty Trump impersonation, hoping that he will hear me and repeat the things that his team hears on this broadcast. Okay?
I would like to thank the dedicated public servants of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, with whom my office is conducting this investigation and who work tirelessly every day upholding the rule of law in our country. I'm deeply proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with them. Thank you very much.
Why Florida, sir? Why did you decide?
That's hilarious. That's the only statement he gave, and he just fucking walked away.
We knew he wasn't going to take questions, even though one eager reporter attempted there. Speaking at the Justice Department, talking about the federal charges facing former President Donald Trump and one of his aides. The indictment released this afternoon detailing 37 charges.
Yes, I am a right-wing. I am
fucking saying it. That's precisely why no one has to say the full N-word, because everybody knows what that is. Not a single person is like, oh, I wonder if that means like nuclear. No.
Oh my, what? Oh my God. Wait, did I see this before? Hasan, I've shown you this before. I literally, it's been erased from my memory. The N-word stands for nuclear is something I said in what? Like, this is like 2020. Like, when I started living in this house in 2020. This can't be like either the end of 2020 or the beginning of 2021. Great for Trump to try to basically make it seem as though he is being victimized. I couldn't find the original clip where you learn about the P word, but I did find this. Hasan, are you Trump for real, though?
That's precisely why no one has to say the full N-word, because everybody knows what that is. Not a single person is like, oh, I wonder if that means like nuclear. No.
Damn. Oh my God. Dude, streaming has broken my brain. I don't remember this clip at all. Oh my God.
The N-word. You know what the N-word is? It's no. It's the nuclear word. He mentioned the N-word yesterday.
That guy
the
loved
nuclear
it.
Word, not supposed to be mentioned.
September 2021. Trump, HasanAbi had confirmed. I mean, yeah, confirmed.
Facing Mr. Trump, including the willful retention of national defense information and obstruction of justice. Let's discuss with my panel. And Laura Coates, let me start with you.
I did fucking nail the whole, like, Trump is the only type of person who would get arrested for, like, this otherwise, like, petty violation. You know what I mean? Because he will openly state that he is doing crimes. Like, that was yesterday when I said that. And then CNN released the tapes, and he said exactly those things.
I want you to translate for us when Jack Smith says that they are going to pursue a speedy trial pursuant to all the rights that the accused has. What does that mean? How soon might this trial begin?
Well, he obviously is aware that the Department of Justice has a policy. They don't want to do anything that might interfere with an election. We know we are 500-some days away from the presidential election.
And 2 months from the first debate.
And 2 months from the first debate. And, of course, primaries ahead of that and after that as well. He's aware of that. And the talking point is obviously out there. And he tried to undermine the idea of the adherence to the law as a bedrock principle, and nothing else was actually the reason to do this. He's aware of that. And so with an eye towards that notion, he is trying to confirm to the people of the United States who are hearing him right now that they are going to do everything that they can. Now, that does not mean that the judge or everyone else in this case will do everything that they can to do this before any of those timelines, because as you can imagine, if, for example, Donald Trump somehow secures the RNC nomination, and if he is able to become the president,
I haven't even, like, we've been celebrating this stuff, but I haven't talked about, like, why it's actually not great yet, because, like, there is a little bit of a scary situation at play now, because, like, the whole, like, Donald Trump is being attacked by the FBI could very quickly turn into, oh, he can't be a viable candidate any longer. He's literally a criminal. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I just, And if that's the case, like, then all of a sudden DeSantis has like a much better chance. And that would be not great.
The United States yet again and win over the Democratic incumbent, then that would mean that any period would actually toll at that point, because now you can no longer continue to pursue a case against a sitting president based on DOJ guidelines. And so the speed and the timing will both be a friend and a foe of Jack Smith.
And Andy McCabe, let me ask you, as a former FBI official, is it unusual that the Justice Department decided to release the indictment today?
You want to know why DeSantis has the capacity in some cases to be worse than Trump? Trump will be worse from the bully pulpit. DeSantis would be worse from the legislative side. What do I mean by that? Because the unfortunate reality is you don't really need to garner popular support to be able to push legislation. You just need to be willing to do it. And you've seen what has happened with many state legislatures all around the country basically acting on their own desires, not even necessarily for any kind of like constituency that they care to appease or anything like that, as they have pushed forward some of the most like criminally discriminatory laws against trans people in every fucking state in the nation, when there isn't even like a real interest in that. There's no single issue voter that's like, we need to kill trans people, please. Like, that's the only thing I care about. They're Matt Walsh fans. That's it. Right? And Ron DeSantis has basically done that as governor in the state of Florida. So if he were in any kind of position of power, I could totally see him. Utilizing that exact same thing, but nationally through state legislatures across the board. Whereas Trump's more so in the game for his own thing. Bro, I saw what you said about Dr. Disrespect. Nagalai is why no one likes you and you'll get smoked by anyone and everyone. Why didn't this guy molest a 14-year-old? If I get timed out, fuck the mods. What? Wait, didn't this guy molest a 14-year-old? If I get timed out, fuck the mods. And may you all die young. Bye. I'm unsubbing. Following since 10 minutes ago. You okay, man? You good? Take your medication, brother. Thanks for coming. They sort of posted a clip of you shitting on Dr. Disrespect. Yeah, I know. Of course they did. Because now I'll get fucking ass clapped by not only the Shungite lovers or whatever, but fucking Dexerto, dude. God damn it. I hate it.
And if
Continue.
so, why do you think they did?
Bears.
Highly unusual. The normal order is the indictment remains sealed until the defendant is presented in court at the arraignment, which we know in
That'll
this
be
case.
Tuesday in Miami.
That's right. Tuesday in Miami, about the same time we're at today. So that's how it normally happens. I'm a little bit surprised that they released it early here, simply because I think it would have been in their advantage to be able to say, we followed the normal process with respect to this remarkable defendant in every possible instance. However, I think that DOJ capitulated in some respect to the enormous pressure that's been put on them by we in the media and some political figures saying, like, this thing is so volatile, people are so interested in it, the American people need to see these facts today. So that's what they did. But this press conference, very clearly, this was like a cover letter, right? There was...
Why are we looking at these old clips? Bitch, it's from 2 hours ago. This is from like when I started broadcasting.
No substance here. What Jack Smith wants us to do is read.
I'll smoke all of you. Drop all your postcodes. Who the fuck says postcode? Chat, he means he's going to smoke on your polls. He's saying he's going to suck all of your dicks, okay? Is he British? Is that what it is? Give you a fucking English. A willy sucking, yeah? What's your postcode, lad? Fucking hell. I'll smoke you I'll fucking shank you. You give me your meat shanking, I'll smoke your fucking pole, lad.
Read the indictment, and he started his comments by saying exactly that. We have one set of laws. Protecting information for national security's sake is incredibly important, and read the indictment. And that's basically all you got.
Dan Abash, a lot of the Republicans out there running for president against Donald Trump, with the exceptions of Chris Christie and Asa Hutchinson, a lot of them running to Donald Trump's defense.
Yeah, you know, and I literally just got a text from a veteran Republican strategist not affiliated with any of the president.
Hasan, you're low-key gonna get chefed. Drop it. Hasan, yes, I'm British. Hasan, drop it then. You're low-key gonna get chefed. Drop it. What the fuck does chef mean? He just keeps getting more British. The more I fucking make fun of him, the more he's turning British. Does chef mean like he's gonna shank you? I'll fucking shank you. Brother, I'm American. I don't know if you know this, but I'll be fine, I think. I'm just saying. I got the fucking blunderbuss, yeah? You get fucking shanked, lad. I pity you. Fuck the verbals. Oh, you're gonna do chefing at, lad? You're doing a little chefing? All you're gonna do is this the fucking kitchen, lad? I'll fucking shank yous. Wait, what's happening? Is it too loud? You think you're tough with a gun? You get wiped, lad. True, threatening Americans with British knives is amazing. Yeah, I know. You're not a proper bird, bruv. Come to Tottenham. You won't be fucking speaking these loud words. I'll tell you, I'll fucking shank yous. You come to Tottenham, you'll see. Don't talk like this. It's like there's a cricket in your mic. Wait, still? Is it still? Wait, what the fuck? What is happening? Someone clip it. Someone clip it. I don't know what it is. Why is the roadcaster making a random noise on its own? I'm just saying. I got the fucking blunderbuss, yeah? Wait. Oh, this is it. It's a roadcaster noise. That's so funny. I turned it off. No, it was not. It was not intentional. I was chefing up the fucking mic, lad. No. My keyboard interfered with the fucking roadcaster. It touched the fucking roadcaster, yeah? You just got fucking Havana syndrome, lad. Fucking hell. Fucking hell, lad. Is he still in here? Keep on with your British accent. You're taking this for some cartoon ting. Fucking hell. You won't say that to my face though, but you think you're tough with a gun? You'll get wiped, lad. Posse is here. You fucking think so? You fucking think? It's fucking minging. You're having a fucking laugh with those verbals, yeah? You're having a fucking laugh.
Presidential campaign saying if a candidate can't make an effective argument that this guy might very well be in jail, I don't know what they can do.
Well, they probably won't. I mean, many of the candidates, I mean, even down to former Vice President Mike Pence, who you were speaking to just a couple of days ago, not wanting to talk about it, really going out of his way today to not discuss the substance of this case, Pence is not quite in the Asa Hutchinson camp, not quite in maybe the Chris Sununu or the Chris Christie camp, but he is staking his campaign on this premise that Trump violated his oath on January 6th and should not be president again. But he is reluctant, it seems, at this very moment, and that could change in the future, but right now is reluctant to weigh in on this case. A lot of these candidates, a lot of Republicans right now probably understand what the poll numbers have shown us over a long period of time, which is that at the very least, it's probably about half of Republicans are willing to, or have been willing up until this point, to give Trump a pass on this case and on many others. Will that change based on this indictment? We don't know, but a lot of Republicans in the field right now are looking to see where the wind is blowing to determine where they go, and not enough time has passed as of right now.
Jamie?
I would just say beyond reluctant. I mean, we saw Pence come out with his announcement and finally say these things. On the other hand, he also said he did not think charges should be pursued against Trump, right? No one should be above the law, but don't.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you need to know. The only fucking person who has like a little bit of like who has a marginal shot, or the second person, you know what I mean, behind Donald Trump, immediately came out and defended Donald Trump. That's all you need to know about the Republican race right now, okay? That's it. Ron DeSantis got absolutely fucking cucked by Donald Trump.
Don't do this.
So let's talk a little bit about the substance, if we can. John, we'll talk to former Governor Asa Hutchinson later in the show. He's actually calling for Donald Trump to drop out of the race because of this indictment. I mean, when you read the indictment, it's stunning. And it's entirely credible because it's based on contemporaneous notes, texts, photographs, and transcripts.
And the detail in it is stunning, and also important to note, when you craft an indictment, the lawyers can say this better than I do, you want to prove your case, probable cause to make the count. There's a lot in there. There's also a lot that's not in there. You don't have to put it all in there. And so what they put in there, Trump's conversation with his lawyers, text messages, testimony from Mar-a-Lago employees. Again, Donald Trump wants to make this about anything but him and the people around him. This is him and the people around him. I want to quickly talk about what we just heard from Jack Smith, though, because we've never heard his voice before. And he took this job, and he is now bringing a historic case against a former president and a current frontrunner for the Republican nomination. That was an economy of words, but I think they were very important words. Number one, he said Donald Trump put our country at risk. He's trying to break through to all Americans, but especially the 33, 35, what's the number, percent of Americans who believe anything Donald Trump tells them. Donald Trump says this is a boxes hoax, this is casual, this is not a big deal. That was the special counsel saying Donald Trump put our country at risk, put the men and women in the military at risk, put the intelligence services at risk. And then,
yeah, dog, I don't know if you watch Fox News or not, John King, but let me tell you, they literally have already started talking about how John King is like insane, he's crazy. The Supreme Court overturned one of his decisions. He's, he's partisan. He's a partisan hack. He was brought in as a hatchet guy. Like, no American is looking at this and going, wow, well, how brilliant. Well, this guy seems like a good egg, you know, maybe he's right. No, this guy's name is John King. The fucking prosecutor is Jack Smith. John King is, oh my God, this person right here on the fucking stage that I'm replying to.
in the end, when he defended the work of the FBI, that tells me he is very aware, even though his job is to prove this case in court, he understands the political argument underway right now. Donald Trump has attacked the FBI for months and months and months and months, but is forcefully doing so now. And a member of the House Republican Party, Andy Biggs, says this is the time for an eye, and that we have reached a war phase. January.
Let's go. Oh, dude, it'd be so sick. It would be so fucking sick if they were coming after Joe Biden.
January 6th is not too far in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
And you have people who put their hand on a Bible or swear an oath to the Constitution who are now saying things. I'm sorry, Donald Trump, as the special counsel noted, is innocent until proven guilty.
Absolutely.
However, the words of elected officials, leadership officials, people in positions of authority and standing in our country are incredibly important always, but all the more so at this moment. And you have you have Republican officials who, even before they saw this indictment, said these charges were baseless. The special counsel, his test is in a court of law, but he was trying right there to shake people to say, at least please read the damn thing.
Well, and also just, I mean, an obvious note, but Donald Trump was elected in 2016 in no small part because he was taking issue with Hillary Clinton's treatment of classified documents on her email server. Lock Her Up was about her recklessness with classified information, alleged recklessness.
To your point about the details, you're making a great point, because look at the photographs in that.
Right.
They lock her up because of the email server.
Right.
Hundreds of documents, maps,
And they
military information, nuclear information about a foreign country,
And control
in
rooms.
boxes in a
Control
ballroom.
rooms. Show the one of all the documents spilled out that have the Five Eyes labels. Five Eyes is the five.
Yeah, throw Hillary Clinton in jail then. Like, I'm so on board. God, that would make it so much funnier if Hillary Clinton was also being investigated for document mismanagement, and then simultaneously Joe Biden was also being investigated for, like, his son having a fat cock or whatever the fuck they're saying Joe Biden is doing with Hunter Biden. It would be sick. I am on board. Please do that.
I have allies, the United States, Australia, New Zealand.
You think I give a
and
fuck?
Others, UK.
Go ahead, make my day.
And these are documents that are only accessible, only allowable to be seen by people in the intelligence community in these 5 countries. And there's a photograph.
God, I
that
love
I'm
this.
Sure
This is such a funny fucking photo, man. Like the fact that they just like put the fucking, and these were supposed to go to the, wait, does it say Mar-a-Lago bathroom or bedroom? Because if they also wrote Mar-a-Lago, like M-A-L bathroom on it, it's so much funnier. Like they were like, yeah, these are the shit files. Put them in the fucking toilet. The chandelier in the bathroom is insane. Yeah, it's so gross.
Our team will find of the documents.
His aesthetic is disgusting, like straight up.
Spilled all over the storage room in a facility that is not secure.
It's the
Yeah, fuck, man. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that Trump is giving us this beautiful content.
Having any type of primary challenge, or do you
All right,
think
now that we
he's gonna
know the
run in
details of what
2024 and that
happened,
this-
let's hear what these fucking psychos are saying. First of all, Trey Gowdy, you should be arrested. You can't have a haircut like that, okay? Arrested, jail.
Over a fully lucid Gavin Newsom. So, I mean, even if he is slightly debilitated, I mean, who the heck says that we'd rather have Gavin Newsom over that? Here's what I wish y'all
What have
would
you done to
ask.
Kaya
Hey,
the past
Gavin,
2 days? I work her out a lot in the mornings. And also today she got 4 vaccines. So she's probably really tired from that. That's what the vet said. The vet said she would be lethargic.
President, I mean, it's not just Gavin Newsom or Joe Biden.
Well, you know what? We've got a full interview with Sean Hannity. It's exclusive. It's airing Monday. Maybe he asked that. I don't know. I haven't read the transcript yet. But it should be a good one. Tune in on Monday night for that. We'll change gears a little bit here. Focus on the former president. Big indictment news came out today.
Oh, boo.
President
Mark Levin goes scorched earth after the indictment of Donald Trump, says Benny Johnson.
Trump is 76 years old. If the Department of Justice gets his way, he will die in federal prison. Just by one of these counts, conspiracy to obstruct justice, which has a 20-year maximum sentence. This is a disgusting mark on American history for the future to come, by these bandits in the White House, by the Democrat Party that don't play fair anymore. They don't want to just win elections. They want to take control of this country. They want one-party rule. And they have used the Department of Justice and the FBI to get what they want.
I just remember, guys, Mark Levin is saying this, but like he did it. Like, we don't need additional information, even at that stage, to know that he was obstructing justice, right? Like, there was an investigation, and he absolutely refused to cooperate with the investigation. Like, we know that already. It's one of the most basic aspects Like, you're complaining that Donald Trump could not get away with obstructing a criminal investigation over his mishandling of classified information.
Merrick Garland is a mob lawyer. That's what he is. Jack Reed is a rogue Soviet-style prosecutor. The Presidential Records Act is not a criminal statute, and it was never intended to be. The Espionage Act of 1917 was passed under Woodrow Wilson, another corrupt president. Woodrow Wilson used it to go after his adversaries, and they imprisoned 2,000 people. So I suppose over there at the Department of Injustice, and this clown prosecutor spent a lot of time at The Hague, they probably figured these laws could be used to try and entrap Trump. All these obstruction issues that they claim, where the former Attorney General, Bill Barr, comes up here and bloviates about it, and all the formers coming on talking about obstruction. They have them on obstruction. There'd be no obstruction issue of any kind, not even in anybody's imagination, had they not criminalized this case. This is a document case. A document case where a president of the United States or a former president faces 100 years in federal prison. Is this some kind of a sick joke on the American people? Joe Biden says he never told them what to do. Joe Biden had to sign off on that's becoming a National Archives case to have it go to the Department of Justice. Who does he think he's lying?
Whoever.
Number one.
Who?
Number one.
Who? Who's number one?
I don't know.
You don't know because you went to a farm, you imbecile. Get back here. You cost me my one chance. I got diabetes and cancer because of you. Just now getting this?
But it's not like we were buds or anything.
You want him to repeat that?
No, I heard it.
Well, thanks for joining us now.
What?
This?
It's literally Master Shake, dude. Here. Hold on. I'll do it. I'll do you one better. Okay.
This is a guy that's got documents from the time he was in the U.S. Senate, for God's sakes, in his garage. I don't want to hear from the legal analysts the technicalities about false statements and obstruction. This should never have been a criminal case. Willful retention of documents. Well, what's the unwillful retention of documents mean? They're throwing all these process crimes and all these crimes.
You saw this on Twitter. I think Brendan Carrot, who is my friend, compared his voice or someone else's voice to Master Shake a long time ago, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, like a couple of years back. See?
The president was elected president, obviously, and we're now being told by Nancy Pelosi and her hand-picked radical Democrats from these dark blue cities that you and I and 320 million other people don't get to know a damn thing about this CIA operative. You don't just flop that on TV and flop it out there in newspapers. And I pointed that out, and it's being repeated all day, and that's great. A guy like me has been raising these issues, leading the battle for constitutional integrity.
It's so perfect, dude. It's perfect because that is actually, it's not even a joke. He's the voice actor for Master Shake.
To grow out of the criminal investigation against Trump.
You can't unsee it now.
What did he do with the documents? Did he sell them to the enemy? No. That's why we have an Espionage Act, not the trick of a president. What did he do? Did he burn them all? No. The government has all the documents back. So there is no violation of the Presidential Records Act at this point. But they throw the book at him. They go after his attorneys. They make them testify. They're attorneys under the crime fraud exception to attorney-client privilege. That means he didn't have due process. His own lawyers were being subjected to interrogations. And they had hundreds of in-person people testifying in front of grand juries. Thousands of collections of documents for what? For what? And they indict them today? They indict them today in Miami? All of a sudden it's in Miami? All of a sudden we have a Florida grand jury? Because the moron in Washington figured out that there are venue issues that could lose him his case. This guy, this prosecutor, he lost 8-0 in the U.S. Supreme Court when they overturned the conviction of the former governor of Virginia because this jerk took a statute and expanded it. A jury in North Carolina wouldn't convict John Edwards because this jerk took a campaign statute and expanded it. And he's taken this case and he's undermining the country and he's interfering with a presidential election. And let me be clear, as Jarrett said, the Attorney General of the United States made this final decision. This is not the independent counsel statute. This is a special counsel appointed by the Attorney General under a Department of Justice regulation. This Attorney General, who pretends he's Helen Keller, he made the decision to indict the former president, and they made the decision to interfere in this election. You want to talk about an insurrection? This is an insurrection, and that's exactly what's going on here. Let me go on. Joe Biden is the crookedest crook that's ever been in the Oval Office.
That's awesome. He's still going. Yeah, when you fucking hit the caps lock and forgot to turn it off, dude. Ah, God, Mark Levin is so fire. He's just, I mean, this is just awesome. I don't know how else to describe it other than he's just cooking, dude.
Everywhere we look, there's a predicate for a special counsel. They won't appoint a special counsel, even though it's compelled under the law in which they appointed this special counsel. And you're not supposed to appoint a special counsel against your political opponent. You're supposed to appoint one in the case of Biden. 20 shell corporations, $10 million coming from the communist Chinese military, spread out among the family, no businesses to support this. Endless meetings with Biden's, with Hunter Biden's business partners. Bob Alinsky, who ties Joe Biden to the crimes. Mr. Big, Mr. 10%. And what does Biden say? Well, then where's the money? He's asking us, come and catch me if you can. The idea that this man isn't under a criminal investigation and that they criminalized a damn document case to go after Donald Trump is sickening. And I would say this to our fellow Americans. Don't be bamboozled by these cable channels and these fools who come on and tell you, well, he's not above the law. Are you kidding me? Democrat Attorney General in New York, Democrat prosecutor in Manhattan, Democrat prosecutor in Atlanta, Democrat Attorney General in Washington, D.C. What do you mean he's not above the law? There is no law. What's going on here is a disgusting disgrace. It is war on Trump. It is war on the Republican Party, and it is a war on the republic. The radical left is doing what the radical left does while they cover up for Biden the way they covered up for Hillary. If Donald Trump is to be charged like this, Hillary Clinton should have been charged with 10,000 counts of obstruction because that's how many emails she destroyed. And 5 counts of destroying cell phones, because that's how many cell phones they destroyed. I'm done, and I'm sick of it.
I love this guy. Finally, he can rest. Oh, no, the fuck he won't. I'm so glad I did the fucking, Master Shake shit in the beginning because I know for a fact that once you see that, you will never unsee that. It's one of those things where it's like, oh no, it's like permanently etched in my mind now. It's over. You will forever. Anytime you hear Mark Levin fucking yell, anytime you hear him yell, you're gonna think that. Which makes it so much more enjoyable.
Have we given up entirely? Apparently. I mean, look at you. 58% voting for share food. I bet there's a subset of people in here who are just voting for the top option every time. I bet there are. I mean, I'm not voting. I can't be bothered. That's way too much effort. Can you imagine if I voted and the one...
This person is a trans DX racer. This person's probably fucking a fan of mine.
Time I voted is when it balanced.
This is probably...
Chest cam blocks. Get back into Hasan's chat. No, it's okay. They can be here. Are some of you from Hasan's chat? Are you fans of Hasan? I can make this more of a... If you're a fan of Hasan, allow me to just make this a bit more of a stream that you're used to.
He is a pet cam as well. The creator of Master Shake cartoon know about the ad break at the top of the hour. Fuck. Got your ass good. Yeah, I know. This used to be a inside baseball community meme. He sucks. Trust. I believe you. I mean, it's internet culture appropriate to clown on Hasan. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I got fucked over by the ad break. It's the chair joke used to be a intro community meme, and now it's like become just like the easiest of owns. I think Josh is fine though. I mean, it's just whatever. I don't really give a shit. Who cares? Josh is fine. He just only hates Hasan, and that's his one L take. Yeah. It's a low-hanging fruit staple, dude. It's a Twitch meme, to be honest. That's the fucking irony of it, is that like the irony of it is that like it's a Twitch meme, but like I'm the only one that gets hit with it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, dude, Hasan is fucking always leaving his desk. And it's like, motherfucker, that's every Twitch streamer does this. I've never heard a single person make this joke about XQC. Ever. XQC will straight up leave SpongeBob on for his audience to watch while he goes and grabs his food and shit. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like, I'm the only motherfucker where everyone's like, dude, you suck so bad. You suck so bad. Every community has it for their own. Every community has it because they have like chair memes. You know what I mean? Every community has a chair emote that you deploy. But outside of Twitch, I'm the only guy who fucking leaves his chair to pee over the course of 8 fucking hours. I don't get it. Why people have such a problem with you? Can you please tell me? I've made the gravest mistake, the biggest mistake of all time, which was to address haters at first. And I cultivated like a diehard fan base of haters for doing so because they had a place to like congregate, basically. And I also am the only streamer who does have like other relatively sizable streamers who have made it their lives mission to just like shit on me every single time I do something, or more importantly, when I don't do anything, really. Like to turn things that I don't do into issues is the lives mission of like plenty of other content creators that do have like a relatively sizable audience. So when you do that, if you want to be a content creator in the future, chatters, if you want to be a content creator in the future, remember, like, don't ever fucking address the haters, or don't tell people that you're a leftist that wants progressive policy. Like the idea that I am the face of like the React meta on Twitch is hilarious because every fucking Twitch streamer does this. There you go. Including like when all of our fucking income and private information got fucking doxxed, the entire internet was like, oh, Hasan is such a piece of shit for making a lot of money. It's just how it is. Now, of course, this also kind of gives me more prominence as well. So it's like a weird double-edged sword where, you know, it's a weird double-edged sword because, like I said, on the one hand, like it creates like a lot of fucking animosity amongst other content creators. But also, on the other hand, it does introduce me to a lot of new people. Anyway. Like a pimple, the more you attack it, the bigger it grows, but I'm not comparing to a pimple. Love you. Well, I fucking have a pimple that I've kept attacking over and over again. Your mistake was not being diplomatic early in your career. No, I am diplomatic. I was diplomatic. People would then yell at me for and claim that I was like defending my friends over and over again. My mistake is streaming too many fucking hours and flying off the fucking hinges and popping off on chatters to basically cultivate an entire community of like, people that just fucking despise me because I've banned a sizable amount of them. And that's it. Anyway, let's watch Jessica Tarlov, the liberal voice on The Five, pointing out the major points of the criminal indictment against former President Donald J. Trump. Her co-host just yelled over her. Jesse Waters even calls her Katie. Her name is Jessica Tarlov.
The documents that were panning across the screen, that there were documents found in the bathroom, in the shower, in the ballroom, in his bedroom, in his office. That there were documents pertaining to our nuclear programs, pertaining to our weaknesses and our allies' weaknesses. What makes us vulnerable? Clearly a national security risk. What has been proven time and time again when it comes to this particular case is that Donald Trump and all of his supporters have been lying to us about what happened. So first he went with everything was declassified because he's magic and he can look at things and they become declassified. Now he's on tape admitting the fact that he's showing people, Mark Meadows' team when he's trying to do the book, a document that was still classified and that he knows that he doesn't have the power to declassify it anymore.
That's so awesome. Like, dude, oh God, I love Trump. You can't hate him, dude. You can't hate the guy. No, this motherfucker just straight up was like, it's highly illegal. I can't get over this. I can't. I have to, but I can't.
More because he's no longer president.
Even if you didn't know any of that, people will still hate you. You're a socialist, successful, and for many people, that's hardcore to paradox, and their capitalism is the only system that works world. Yeah, no, my biggest mistake was saying that my biggest mistake was revealing what my political perspective was instead of just claiming that I was a centrist and then just doing the same exact commentary. I could have consistently claimed that I was a centrist and done the exact same commentary. I probably would have even been more successful if I did that. Anyway, this is not about me. Let's get back to Donald Trump, the GOAT.
President. He said they were properly secured. I don't think a toilet is a skiff. Maybe I'm wrong.
Better than a Corvette.
Yeah.
Here you go. Misdirection. Misdirection.
That's
just
not
take.
misdirection.
Yes, it is.
Horrible fake virtue signaler is all you are. Yuck. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for telling me that the ideals that I represent are virtuous. You can say I'm, fake signaling to it, but it's fine. As long as you admit that the ideals that I'm signaling are virtuous, I'm happy. We're on the same page. You and I are in agreement. I do think it's virtuous. I guess you would like me more if I, was signaling vices, but.
Because no, it's not. Because in the B block, we'll talk about Ukraine, and then I can hear about Viktor Shokin all over again. He also said that he complied with everything. We know he flouted subpoenas, and now we know that he asked his lawyers to get rid of things. It seems, and yes, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm decently smart. I know some viewers don't necessarily think that, but I'm telling you, and a few of my teachers would agree, that this seems like a pretty clear case of obstruction. And Jonathan Turley's been on our air all day talking about this and saying that these charges are the darlings of what they're looking for because they are easy to prove, especially when you have pictures of them.
So if Hillary actually does get rid of things.
Here we go. This has nothing to do with Hillary Clinton. No, it doesn't. If you want to argue and you want to talk about, again, the difference between gross negligence and extremely careless, a lot of people will have that conversation. But today, you are looking at boxes of classified documents strewn across a public place, also that were transported to another location, even to the point whoever the family member who texts, I won't be able to fit all the boxes on the plane. Whatever shall we do? Come on,
Katie, but
this-
is
They did not like that. I don't get why she says, yeah, fuck it, lock her up too, because she's supposed to be a lib. We're going to find out that Trump hid documents in his ex-wife's grave, I'm calling it. No, man, that's too much. I know that's a liberal take that I've heard before, but like that would require Trump to care about something more than just himself. Okay? It's like too much initiative for Trump. Do you get it? Trump's not the kind of dude that does shit like that because he doesn't think about things beyond like action reaction. How does this impact me? You know what I mean? He's not like he's not the type of person that would hold like he would he's not the kind of person that would turn around and fucking like engage in a poetic act of like vengeance or something. You know what I mean? No, he's the kind of dude who literally keeps classified documents because, he's the fucking president. So we can show it to like the greasiest dentist in West Palm Beach, okay? That's the kind of dude he is. He's also the kind of dude if by mistake or deliberately would be interested in flexing not only on Kid Rock, but like literally a fucking Saudi royal too. So, I could absolutely see him. Can't wait for you to give all of your wealth away. Fascist mods. Fascist. The Trump Justice Department had 4 years ago after Hillary Clinton, and they didn't, so why make it an issue now? I agree. It's a big L. If you can weaponize if you can weaponize the DOJ, which Trump certainly did, by the way, like make no mistake, then why didn't he do it against Hillary Clinton? Like he should have. Breaking, unsealed indictment says Trump disseminated national defense info. 2021 in July, he showed and described a plan of attack in an audio recorded meeting. He showed a representative of his PAC a classified map related to a military operation. He suggested his lawyer falsely represented that Trump did not have documents responsive to the subpoena. He directed valet Walt Nauta to move boxes to conceal them from the lawyer. He suggested that his lawyer hide or destroy subpoena documents. He provided to the FBI some of the subpoena documents, and then he caused a certification to be submitted to the FBI and grand jury, falsely representing that all documents had been produced while knowing they had not. It's just like such a weird, stubborn, unnecessary thing to do that could have been avoided a million times over, that totally could have been dealt with in an amicable way. Identical situations occurred shortly after with Michael Pence, Trump's vice president, and Joseph Robinette Biden, the current president, and they were dealt with amicably. They immediately cooperated with the authorities. Immediately. Look, see, she's having a hard time walking. That's because her leg hurts from the vaccine. Kaya, I mean. I don't know if you were paying attention to her. I'm always looking at her. Ryan Goodman, former special counsel for the Department of Defense, says, "This is devastating. I have looked at all prior prosecutions under the Espionage Act, and I've never seen such egregious facts like this. Trump stored his boxes containing classified documents in a ballroom, a bathroom, a shower, an office space, his bedroom, and a storage room, meaning all cases of Espionage Act for retention of such documents. Special counsel alleges that the Iran attack plan is indeed a classified document that Trump shared. Extraordinary risks to U.S. national security. Foreign advisories would pay tens of millions for that info," which, by the way, again, during the Donald Trump presidency, there was routine coverage on how many foreign adversaries sent people to Mar-a-Lago, because it was like a known secret that Trump would very openly talk about presidential shit within like hearing distance of whoever the fuck just had access to Mar-a-Lago. Like, he did that all the time. Nauta is going to jail. He may well still flip and cooperate with his open and shut case. Nauta found several of Trump's boxes fallen and their contents spilled onto the floor of the storage room, including marked secret and for 5 eyes only. He texts photo to employee number 2. This is the photo that he texted another employee. Any hope that Trump may have had to claim advice of counsel defense will not work. Trump, in sum and substance, made the following statements, among others, as memorialized by Trump Attorney 1. I don't want anybody looking. I don't want anybody looking through my boxes. I really don't. I don't want you looking through my boxes. This is Donald Trump's like, well, that doesn't work for me either moment. I don't want anybody looking. Don't look through my boxes. Well, what happens if we just don't respond at all or don't play ball with them? Wouldn't it be better if we just told them we don't have anything here? Which is like to lie. He's saying, isn't it better to lie to the federal authorities? Well, look, isn't it better if there are no documents, as in, like, I'm going to make them disappear? While meeting with Trump Attorney 1 and Trump Attorney 2 on May 23rd, Trump, in sum and substance, told the following story, as memorialized by Trump Attorney 1. He was great. He did a great job. You know what? He said that it was him, that he was the one who deleted all of her emails, the 30,000 emails, because they basically dealt with her scheduling and her going to the gym and her having beauty appointments. And he was great. So she didn't get in any trouble because he said that he was the one who deleted them. So it turns out in private, he's like also saying how Hillary Clinton worked with another person who deleted all the fucking all the emails, and that was like a good thing. She did a great job in private. Trump, to turn over all documents with classification markings, Trump endeavored to obstruct the FBI and grand jury investigations and conceal his continued retention of classified documents by, among other things, suggesting that his attorney falsely represent to the FBI and grand jury that Trump did not have documents called for by the grand jury subpoena, directing defendant Waltine Nauta, his valet, to move boxes of documents to conceal them from Trump's attorney, the FBI, and grand jury, suggesting that his attorney hide or destroy documents called for by the grand jury subpoena, providing to the FBI and grand jury just some of the documents called for by the grand jury subpoena while claiming that he was cooperating fully, and causing a certification to be submitted to the FBI and grand jury falsely. So now Trump can't even use advice of counsel because all of this information is out there. That, like, he didn't actually act on the advice of his counsel to do such things, that he actually tried to mislead his own counsel. What's going to be really funny is when Republicans look to, like, unique ways of defending Donald Trump. Okay? And then, like, one of the ways that they will creatively try to concoct this thing will be to say he has a psychological, like, stress disorder, and he's a hoarder, and therefore he, like, medically wanted to keep these boxes full of information. As a hoarder, not because of some nefarious purpose, but because he has autism. If they go with like this is something that he didn't intend to do, but he had to do because he couldn't fucking help himself, I will lose my mind. Okay? Your Honor, I took the Fauci ouchie and I got the autism. Neurodivergent. That's what they call it. Neuroatypical. Your Honor, I'm autistic.